And now it's time for our playlist challenge. The challenge this week is to come up with a list of songs that are 4 characters or less.
Yep.
Why 4? Because 5 would be too easy and 3 would be too hard.
That's right. That's right. So
we went with 4 characters, and it could be up to 4. We weren't really that strict on spaces or punctuation, but you get the idea.
Right.
So, and since this one was my idea, for better or worse, it means E will lead us off. So you're up.
Okay. Of the 5 songs I listened to, number 5 for me is Tush by ZZ Top. I have so many questions.
So, first of all, I just want to, it took, I think this is our 3rd or 4th. I finally got the 5th one right. Like I finally
you predicted that I would
finally got one that you would pick 5th. I've been trying.
Okay.
I thought Kid Rock was the ultimate no-brainer.
Yeah, this is definitely it.
Yeah.
So for this song, I knew the riff, actually. I didn't know the song. I didn't know the artist, but that riff was familiar to me somehow. I mean, just growing up and hearing classic rock on the radio or whatever. The simplest way I can put it is a note I wrote down, which was, I hate this kind of music. And I can be more specific because I like a good riff, right? Mm-hmm. I don't mind blues music, and this is clearly blues based. It is this era of music. It is classic rock radio. There's something about it, whether it's the production, it's the banality of the lyrics. It's just
the casual misogyny.
The casual misogyny.
Which maybe should be the name of our podcast, actually.
I'm not sure. I'm hoping that's false advertising, but yeah, I just don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. I don't nod my head. I don't catch myself tapping my feet. It just does not resonate with me whatsoever. I wrote down that, classic rock. It's not this song. It's not raw enough for me to be like authentically bluesy.
It does have a contrived bluesiness feel to it too.
Yes. And I think as much as I know about ZZ Top is that they're considered like a blues rock band. This just does not go in either direction, rock or blues enough for me. I would have never guessed this was ZZ Top. Like, I didn't know that that's what ZZ Top. I think I only know them from the 80s and for like Legs and
just a little more poppy and polished.
Sharp Dressed Man. Yeah. The vocals doesn't sound anything like I knew ZZ Top to sound like. And Tush is a fucking stupid word and an even dumber name for a song.
100% agree. It's one of those words that makes me uncomfortable.
Yes.
It's kind of like moist.
It is kind of like moist. Yeah. And a moist tush would be...
Well, depends on your perspective, I guess, right?
Okay, so things get much better from there. We had nowhere to go but up, I guess. There's a tush joke in there somewhere.
Or in.
Right. Number 4 is going to be Swim by Fishbone. So Swim by Fishbone. This song is heavier than I thought Fishbone was, from what I remember of Fishbone, and I never really listened to them a whole lot. I think I only know whatever was on like 120 Minutes or whatever, or wherever I heard them. I thought they were funkier, and this is pretty heavy, pretty early on. I figured out it's about moshing, it's about being in the pit, and it's a song that sounds like it's a soundtrack to being in the pit, right? Like they would play it, like the whole reason the song exists is to have a pit at the show that they play the song at, which is fine. I don't mind that. It does seem like a kind of like, as far as like BPMs go, like kind of slow for a mosh pit song, but maybe I just have a certain idea of what like moshing is about. Confession, I've never moshed before. The vocals, I thought the vocals were actually really cool because there's like, I don't know how many different vocalists are on this track or if it's one person doing multiple voices, but I kind of like that. There is somebody that's more like, There's more singing, there's more growling, there's talking, there's kind of, and they're all layered on top of each other, and they come in and out often throughout the song. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah, it feels kind of random.
Yeah,
just random, but in a good way.
In a good way. Yeah, I dug that about it. There was a couple references I wanted to look up. Like he says something about jamming with Link and Walt. Do you know what that's about?
No.
Okay. All right.
I assume he's playing Zelda and watching Breaking Bad.
Right. Never mind that Breaking Bad didn't come out for like 30 years.
We're not worried about these details.
Got it. The only other thing I have to say about it is that the last 25% of the song has no lyrics. And that's what made me think, I think this is made to beat people up on in a concert too. It's just, it's about a vibe more than it's about what the song is.
Yeah.
But it was fine. It was cool. This is where it gets tough for me, this top three. Number 3, let's go for Why by Farside.
Presently brinking 2 decades and a half, breaking the path for mine to follow. The world is hollow, yet it's full of crap, prepare to gamble. I give you a handful of chips and tips of what's to come. I cried a ton of tears, drunk a ton of beers. It's fun to fears, but learn to persevere throughout the years. Kept my ears open, eyes open, mouth locked. Don't rock the boat if you can't swim. Nobody may not be there with a limb to limb. This is the end, still I can't explain the fact. Why the fuck shit gotta be like that? Be like that, just be like that. Tell me why it's gotta be like that.
I dug it. The first Farside album I bought and I listened to it over and over again. I actually went back and tried to listen to it again recently, and it didn't hold up for me for whatever reason.
Bizarre Ride?
Yeah. It was so silly and nonsensical, and maybe I wasn't in the place to hear that at the time, but I'm sure whatever year it came out, like I could dig that kind of stuff. I like the song. It seems, I like the chorus. Again, I think I talked about this in a previous playlist challenge where there was a phase in the 90s where like most rap choruses were like R&B singers would jump on the track and I can't stand that style of chorus. This is another one where it's like all the guys in the group all sort of chanting the chorus together. I really like that. As far as subject matter, seems kind of all over the place. There's some sort of traditional, like I'm a better MC than you, which I'm a sucker for. I always like that. If you can creatively, prove your point, I love that kind of stuff. There was a really creative bit of rhyming in it I really liked. One dude rhymes homie, Wyoming, California, and microphony in consecutive lines.
Nice.
And I loved it. I thought that was hysterical. And it was fun. Like, this track is fun. There was a bunch of different elements. Like, there was another one where the MC modifies a word just so it'll fit with the syllables, which I like when, like, you think I wouldn't like that as a former English teacher, but I like when people can do it creatively and have it be like funny or fun. And he says modificated. When he's talking about rearranging, he says modificated just so it'll line up with the syllables from the previous verse.
Right.
And it's awesome. I think it's really fun and cool. So yeah, I dug this. I dug this a lot. Number 2 is going to be Mojo by Peeping Tom with some other people on it. Dan the Automator and Rozelle from
the human beatbox.
That's right.
Yes.
The beat in this song is sick. I love it. I think it's so cool. I mean, it sounds of a time, but also not. Mm-hmm. I love the beat. I didn't know anything about this. I'd never
really.
Yeah, so I actually had to look because I heard Mike Patton's voice. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. I think his vocals work really well with that beat, even though it's like I should expect that he could do this well, right? Considering like Faith No More's big first big hit was a sort of like a rap song with a rock beat, and now he's kind of singing over a rap beat. It's sort of like the reverse, and it works really well, or the inverse. I got some like G-funk influence in them. There's like that high horn or whistle or whatever sound that is at certain parts. The only other thing I dug it. I thought it was really cool. It was a nice surprise. I never knew this song existed or anything like, or this project existed, which sounds like it was like his attempt to do like a pop record with a bunch of collaborators.
It's a lot of collaborators. It was a one-off.
Yeah.
There's only been one album.
Okay.
I think it pushes Mike Patton's band total to like 73.
No shit.
Yeah, one off, lots of guests. Probably most notorious for the one track with Norah Jones, where she says "motherfucker" in the chorus.
Really?
Yes,
that's awesome.
Yes, and I mean it's gimmicky, but it worked.
It worked. Yep. Okay. Yeah, the only thing I thought about is like I wish the chorus wasn't so weed focused. It just ends up sounding stupid. He talks about puffing or getting high or whatever.
Which is funny because I'm pretty sure Mike Patton is straight edge.
Oh, really?
I think so.
So you think it's tongue in cheek?
Probably.
Yeah.
Everything he does is tongue in cheek.
Well, that's true.
He's never done anything serious in his fucking life.
That's true. I literally wrote tongue in cheek question mark in my notes. And there's also like a large portion of the song has "Oops, I Did It Again" as like a reference. And I'm like, boy, that either dates it or it's really awesome.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think it just dates it.
Yeah, it dates it in a bad way or a good way. Not sure, but I still like it. Yeah. I thought that was the first one I got to where I'm like, I'll listen to this again. Mm-hmm. Then we'll go to, am I on to number one?
Yep.
Okay, number one is "Time" by Tori Amos.
And Napoleon is weeping in a carnival saloon. His invisible fiance's in the mirror. The band is going home. It's raining hammers, it's raining nails. And it's true, there's nothing left for him. And it's time, time, time. And it's time, time, time. And it's time, time, time that you love. And it's time, time, time.
So also first time I'm hearing this song.
Really?
Yeah. This is from a covers album.
Yes.
Where does this fall in her canon? Like where did it after what album or?
This is "Strange Little Girls," which I want to say is 99.
Okay.
It's
so she's still pretty, like she's not in the peak, but
no, but we're well aware of my disappointment in her slide. I mean, this covers album was again largely disappointment, including the worst cover of Slayer's "Raining Blood."
Oh no,
I've ever heard.
Okay, I haven't heard it.
Yeah, because I saw the track list for the album came out, of course.
Yeah,
and I'm like, ooh, that's going to be good. And no, it was not
terrible.
But no, so I think 99, 2000.
Okay,
somewhere in there.
Okay. So this is a Tom Waits cover, and what I liked about this is it gave me inspiration because I can't tell you how many times I've started and stopped trying to listen to Tom Waits, and I know I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love his music, but I think it takes such a commitment to dive into his stuff, and this was proof of that for me because when I took time and sat down and looked at the lyrics and listened to the song multiple times, the lyrics are I wouldn't say dense, but they're so heady that I needed to spend time. I'm like kind of unraveling what was going on in the song. And I found that like a really fun thought exercise. The lyrics paint an image, multiple images that I found it very engaging. It drew me in to the music. And I think the breathy vocals, the spare piano, I think it all creates this mood that I really enjoy. Some of the lines I really liked pretty early on. There's the line, You're east of East St. Louis, and the wind is making speeches, and the rain sounds like a round of applause. That imagery is just beautiful. It's just not something you see in modern songcraft, at least the stuff that I listen to, and I really appreciated it. I may have mentioned this in a previous episode, but when an artist drops a first name in a song, I don't know. It gets me. I always think, is that a real person?
Yeah, well, it personalizes it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I really like it. And so I say he as Tom Waits is the person who wrote the song, but there's a mention of someone named Matilda. I'm like, who is Matilda? What role does she play in this story? I don't think I understood the story, but I didn't need to.
Right.
Because it was just so beautiful. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I loved it. I'll listen to this version again, and I feel like this is the inspiration I need to go really sink my teeth into Tom Waits. So I'm really glad you shared this. It was really good.
Yeah, and I have to hijack it a little bit because I won't get many chances to talk about the songs I love after. But this is one of my favorite songs total.
Wow.
Overall.
Wow.
It's the perfect storm of Tori. I don't think was a great songwriter, and towards the end, not even a good one.
Okay.
So when you take a great songwriter and give it to her, you kind of get the best of both worlds.
Okay.
And it's also that because of the vibe of the lyrics, her style of somber and breathy that normally I think is a problem becomes a huge asset.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think it's kind of the perfect storm of taking someone else's material and kind of making it yours, and it just clicks.
Yeah.
But it's gorgeous. I do use this as, you know, we talked in an earlier episode about using music to, I believe I used the words emotional lubricant or sadness lubricant. Okay. Yes. Both of which equally is inspired. But I use this for that purpose too. Like if I need to get a good cry out, or if I'm sad about something, I'll use this. And speaking of, for everyone out there at home, I would highly recommend. So I was a year off on the release date. It was September of 21.
Okay.
September of 2001. This came out.
Okay.
Beautiful and haunting rendition. So she did this on Letterman.
Oh, okay.
David Letterman. It was, I think, the first episode after 9/11.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So she's in New York.
Yeah.
She does this song, and it was one of those, it's a fascinating thing to go back and watch that post 9/11 television.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
No one knew how to act.
Right.
And, you know, Dave kind of somberly introduces her. She does it. He's crying.
Wow.
Did they just solemnly go to commercial? It ends up feeling like a tribute, even though it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it was almost also too like a requiem for what we lost. It was super fucking powerful.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. I did get, you know, I not that I didn't understand what the lyrics were about. There is a lot about time and memory and the nature and the flexibility of those kind of things. I think that makes a lot of sense now in hindsight.
And now for me to list and justify, however weekly it may be, the 5 that E assigned to me, we will jump in with number 5. And I wanted this one to be higher.
Okay.
Number 5 is Air.
I knew it.
By Astronoid. So I'm not going to burn the whole story now.
I was wondering if we should tell it now.
I don't know. Should it be its own thing? All right. We'll give you the short version. It's not, I probably saw this song live.
Yes, I think you did.
But I don't know that I did.
Right.
Because E and I believe we alluded to this earlier. We have kind of an open policy of if one guy wants to go to a concert, we have to go.
Right.
No questions asked, really.
Right.
And it was a Sunday night. And he said, "Hey, do you want to go see this band in Pontiac, which is a nearby suburb?" And they're called Astronoid. I'm like, "Yeah, sure, whatever, dude. It's a Sunday." So we go, all kinds of hijinks leading up to trying to find a parking spot and getting into the show and whatever else. Right. But the one thing that stood out to us was that there was nothing. We didn't see any cars, and we're thinking, okay, there must be like parking we don't know about, but let's just park right here.
Right.
And it's a small club venue.
Yeah.
Capacity 500, maybe?
Maybe.
And
it's like upstairs somewhere. Yeah, it's super small. And
we go in and, get a couple drinks. I believe the opening band might have been on at the time. And Astronoid came out, and we were approximately 33% of the audience.
Yes.
There were, I believe, 6 people.
I think something like that, 6 to 10 people.
We're pretty sure 4 were family.
Yes, or like roadies. The band was staying with them in town, like they were friends.
I think we were the only people who didn't know everyone else in the room.
That's right.
And which is a very intense moment. You can't just look at your phone and kind of think of other stuff because they're looking at you.
They're looking at you.
It's eye contact. So I had to pretend to be an Astronoid fan for a solid 90 minutes.
And the style of music they play is pretty loud and pretty fast.
Yeah.
It's not conducive to like discovering at a concert of only 6 people. Like the volume was turned up as if the audience was going to be 500 people.
Right.
It was not.
It was not. It was about 494 short.
To their credit, and I know that we could tell a longer version of the story, but the lead singer walked out and looked at the crowd and goes, "All right, who's ready to rock?"
Yes.
It was like really broke the ice and like, okay, they get it that this is insane. They're probably so mad at their booking agent. Like, why are we playing this show? We're going to lose money playing the show.
Right. But it was fun. I enjoyed it at the time. I don't hate it, but on to the actual song itself. It felt messy to me.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like the execution wasn't as strong as the idea.
Oh, okay.
I think if you chart this out on paper, it looks like an ambitious mix of stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's musical chops or just whatever.
Okay.
Something just kind of falls short on the execution for me.
Okay.
And the lyrics to me are next level terrible.
They're bad.
My note was, it looks like they were written by a 7th grader.
Yes.
Like I'm sure everyone at home is dying to get an example, so I'll give one to you.
Go for it.
The unknown beginning to shine. The future is better than bright. A reason to all find out. The focus of all our lives. Fixated on novas at night. A reason to all find out. The fuck does that even mean?
Nothing.
Right? Okay.
Nothing.
So not terrible. I mean, again, if someone was listening to it, I wouldn't say change it. It is what it is. But I think maybe, again, they bit off more than they can chew musically.
Okay. That's fair.
At number 4, I have Gift by Sugar.
I gotta say, I'm surprised.
Yeah, no, and I knew you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
And again, we Ian and I know enough about each other that we know tacitly what the other guy's going to expect.
Yes,
right?
That's true.
Again, it's funny to me how Ian and I have completely different styles in this playlist challenge. He will make it up as we go. I will give you a detailed breakdown of how it started and how it ended and why it moved above another one. So to that end, when I hit play, and I knew that I wanted to like it, I wanted to make you happy.
Thanks.
And for the first 10, 15 seconds, I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. I'm picturing 1 or 2 in my head. Right.
Yeah.
I love the energy.
Yeah.
It's the sound. It just felt alive and I dig it. And I do dig the music. I like the drums. Okay. They're strong. They're high up in the mix, which big fan.
Yeah.
The vocals are way too low in the mix.
Okay, they are too low.
Drove me fucking crazy.
Wow. Okay.
Way too low.
Wow.
Way too low. It's like, it honestly, I'm like, my muscle memory was like reaching for a slider somewhere or a volume knob. It's like, turn the vocals up.
Wow. Okay.
So I get it. I mean, every artist has, it's their prerogative, of course.
Yeah.
And I don't dislike, is it Bob Mould?
It's Bob Mould, yeah.
Yeah. I don't dislike the voice.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just, I'm like, I felt like, how could they release this? Like,
wow, really?
It's like, yeah, I know.
But I think this speaks to that bit about how important lyrics are to you versus me. I'm not paying a lot of attention to it. Maybe I honestly didn't realize how low they were in the mix. But now that you're saying it, I see it.
Yeah. And I'm sure like this, just like my rating of the cigar roast the other day, I'm sure it's somehow tangentially tied into some sort of OCD or ADHD that I have, that I need to understand what's going on.
Sure.
And if I don't, I get so frustrated and, someone gets me a fidget spinner. I don't know.
Right.
So I'm sure that's a part of it. Vocals higher in the mix. I think it's a number 1 candidate. I couldn't get past it. True. And it's a testament to, it's all relative. I liked the other songs as well. So anyway. So, and the lyrics are cryptic, and I don't like it.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, like cryptic and we've gone over this a few times, and we will more in the future, I'm sure. But like, there's cryptic that makes you want to dig into it, and cryptic that makes you go, I don't fucking get it.
Yeah.
And for me, it fell into the latter. It's like, cryptic is fine, but give me something to want to. But when it's too cryptic, I'm like, look, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Sure.
You got to give me something.
Yeah. Okay.
And it fell into the latter for me. Yeah. But I definitely dig the song, and I'm definitely going to check out more. I knew of them.
Yeah.
And I know he's very well respected.
Absolutely.
So I know I need to check it out more. Yeah. And if I need to go find the fucking stems online and remix the album myself, I will.
I think this is the remastered. Funny, it's because I think this is a remastered version.
Oh, Jesus. So, what was it? Was it an instrumental the first time around?
My recommendation, though, I got into Bob Mould through his solo work, and actually on an album that was like universally regarded as his worst solo work for whatever reason I really liked. They played it on college radio, and then I went backwards and did pick up Sugar. My recommendation to you, Tank, sitting across from me, knowing what I know about you, do not go all the way back to Husker Du.
Okay.
It's not worth it.
Okay.
You will hate it.
Yeah.
And the through line is there, and I get why they're influential and why so many people, regard them with in such high esteem. You'll hate it.
Yeah.
You'll hate it.
No, it's a good warning. And people forget too, it's possible to be influential without being good.
That's true.
Right? Sometimes people can uncover an idea that leads to great things, but they didn't really do it well.
Sure.
Right. Okay. So that is number 4. At number 3, I have Is As by Goldmund. This song, to me, feels like a mug of coffee on a winter morning.
Ooh, I like it.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Let's go get some coffee.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's cuddle up under a blanket. Fuck this podcast.
That's right.
No, it's a vibe. It's a good vibe. And it's, for a hot second, I had this at number 1. I'm like, no, I can't be that predictable that he could just throw an instrumental at me and that's number 1 every time. But what I thought worked well that was unique about it was the contrast of the tone of the keys, which is high and hopeful. I'm no Rick Beato, but I think maybe major chords.
Okay.
With the lo-fi kind of dark ambience.
Okay.
Right. So it's a very sharp contrast between, let's say, the background and the foreground, and it worked.
Cool.
An incredibly short song.
It is.
It's a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe a minute 50, but it's very short. I like it a lot. And as it turns out, so whenever it's an instrumental only song, I can't help but dig into, is this all they do? What else? And it turns out this guy, his name's Keith something.
Keith Kniff, yeah.
Keith Kniff, is several acts under different names. And Goldmund is for, apparently this is a thing, post-classical piano music.
Yep.
So this definitely could be an iceberg moment for me where I'm like, okay, well, let's look into post. I love piano.
Cool.
And I like lo-fi.
Nice.
So if there's the perfect marriage of piano and lo-fi out there, I should probably dig it.
Okay.
So, but as a song, partly due to its brevity and okay, there's not much there. Like it's number 3, but it's definitely something that's going to start me down a path.
Sweet.
Coming in at number 2. At number 2 is Who by David Byrne and St. Vincent. I like this one quite a bit, and it grew on me in an incredibly short period of time, right? Because due to the nature of this exercise, I forced myself to, of course, listen to the whole songs, right? I can't just change it.
Right.
And it's funny how sometimes within the course of the length of the song,
Sure.
So it did some of that. My number 1 note is that it's different, but in a good way.
Okay.
It's hard to do things that are different that don't come off as overly forced for being different. And I think they managed to pull that off. It's quirky and swingy without being disorganized.
Cool.
Because again, in pushing to do something different, it can go off the rails pretty fast.
For sure.
And I don't think that happened here. It does have the kind of vague lyrics that I do like.
Oh, okay.
They're open-ended.
Okay.
And I think they kind of, invite you to either want to learn more or make your own interpretation, whatever. The kind of keep saying who, repeated.
Yeah.
Are you asking the question? Are you trying to tell me something? But either way, it's intellectually interesting.
Okay.
It doesn't, I guess the kind of lyrics I don't like is when I feel like you're telling a story that I'm not privy to.
I see. You're missing important details from
exactly.
it.
Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm pissed off that you're assuming I do.
Right.
But if you just leave it open-ended, like, hey, why are we here? What's going on?
Right.
Why is the sky blue?
Okay.
Then I can maybe bite into it a little bit more.
All right.
So I liked it a lot. I'm going to definitely check out the whole album and see what else they managed to do. I will say this. I didn't know what St. Vincent looked like.
Oh, okay.
And I had not seen David Byrne in, 30 years.
Wow.
So the album cover, have you seen this album cover?
Yes.
Okay. It came up on Spotify, and I'm like, okay, two things. Number one, what the fuck happened to David Byrne? And number two, oh my God, I didn't know St. Vincent was someone who'd been in a terrible car accident.
Oh, really? She looks that bad?
Dude, if you look at...
I guess I haven't looked closely
Pull
enough.
it up on your phone. So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like, did David Byrne like go full Madonna and overly plastic surgery? And seriously, why have I never heard about St. Vincent looking like fucking Quasimodo? So as it turns out, the cover is intentional.
Oh, I see.
It's an intentional commentary. He is the Buzz Lightyear strong, chiseled jaw man. And she is the Beauty and the Beast.
I see.
So, and she is the disfigured. Okay.
Okay.
Without context. And I have to think I'm not alone in this.
Wow.
How many people instinctively know what David Byrne and St. Vincent look like, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that on purpose. And it's not so over the top that it's like clearly artificial.
I do know what they both look like. Like
Yeah.
I've watched like his concert video that he put out not long ago, and I've watched her in concert. I didn't even pay any attention.
Yeah.
I glanced right past it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's generally them.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like her jaw's like
Oh, it's all
grotesquely
jacked up.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a quirky little, it was an extra 5 minutes of homework on, do they really look like this? And thankfully they do not. They're both very attractive, natural looking people. And number one is More by Low. So this one, I feel like everything about this song feels like a swing for the fences. That
Okay.
it was going to be a home run or a ground out.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think anyone listens to this song and goes, I kind of like it.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Right. And who knows, maybe depending on the mood and time of day, whatever's going on, I could see this going to be a strong 5 or a strong 1. And today, maybe every day, it ended up being a 1. And first 5 or 10 seconds, I was like, okay.
What the fuck am I listening to?
What the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, well, let's get through it. And, but it ended up working. And because of that opening, it's loud. And my note was it makes you feel like the volume is at a 7, even when it's at a 4. Like you want to turn down the volume.
Yes.
Because it's just like, oh, Jesus, it's just grating and loud. And,
Yeah. You feel like you're hearing distortion,
yes.
right? Like you're like your equipment's not good.
Right. Like it's disorienting.
Yeah.
So again, that could be, it's risky, but it worked. And maybe even because of that, I really like how the lines are sung with a high and a low. Like,
Okay.
it just worked.
Yeah.
Right. Again, all these things are risky and then put together become even riskier, but it clicked.
Cool.
The lyrics are both straightforward and vague at the same time. There's not many of them. There's maybe 10, 12 lines. It's kind of spooky, and it could definitely, I could see this being written as a letter that a murderer leaves behind.
Oh, wow.
And I'm not even going to ruin it for you.
Okay.
Not do it justice, but look up the lyrics.
Yeah, I'll have to reread it.
I could totally see that, like, if some psycho killed someone and they left behind a letter saying, this is how I feel, this is why I did it. It had that vibe.
Wow.
And because of that, I think this would make a perfect closing song in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm just picturing, like,
Absolutely.
it's the conflict has been resolved.
Yeah.
Someone's walking away in a dark alley and this starts playing.
Really cool.
Yeah. Maybe we need to make a whole movie just so we can do that.
Let's do it.
All right.
I'm in.
All right. I don't see how that could backfire.
We're qualified.
Yeah. So yeah, it like I said, that was a real hit or miss. I think that was a 5 or 1, and it turned out to be a 1. I really dug it, and much like, honestly, I mean, 3, 2, and 1, and 4. I'm gonna dig into them.
Nice.
Right, and that's an Astronaut I've already seen live, so what's the point?
Yeah, I think in particular with Low, you're really gonna enjoy that journey because they did so many different sounds The lead singer just passed away, I think this year, like less than 6 months ago.
That does ring a bell. Yep.
Yeah. And they were doing like really groundbreaking stuff 25 years into their career, like just changing it up entirely. Like the whole album sounds kind of like that. It's really, anyway, I think you'll really enjoy it. I can give you a couple recommendations.
No, this was, it was another good one. It's another, these are quickly becoming my favorite aspect of what we do, because it always ends up being another chunk of things to get into, which is always my struggle, right? To find new stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So
cool.
Appreciate that. And that will wrap up this installment of the Playlist Challenge. So we will be back with another one next season, actually.
Yep.
Because you try to be basing, Friday the 13th, I'ma play Jason. No type of joke, gag, game, puzzle, or riddle. The name is Big Daddy, yes, big, not little, so define it. Here's your walking papers, sign it, and take a walk as the canes start to talk, cause